listener production.
Hey, it's Helen Smith here with The Briefing.
Killers in the jungle.
What's your prediction for the fight?
The one and only Iron Mike Tyson!
I started Jake off and I'm going to finish him.
You started me off, but I'm going to teach you how to box, Mike.
This weekend, legendary boxer Mike Tyson is stepping into the ring with YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul.
Me and Mike Tyson fighting. The vision I had, it's within me to be a fighter.
The fight is being held at AT&T Stadium in Texas, the stadium that cost $1.2 billion to build and usually hosts the NFL's Dallas Cowboys. But for those who can't make it in person, it's set to be broadcast live on Netflix, which is a first for the streaming service in boxing.
The winner by knockout victory.
We're going to war, and he's getting knocked out.
You better fight Tyson. You better fight him. You better fight him good.
The fight was meant to happen back in July, but was delayed due to Tyson having a medical episode on a plane and needing time to recover from a stomach ulcer, which prompts the questions if a nearly 60-year-old should be fighting a 27-year-old.
I do value Mike's health first and foremost. He says he still is going to knock me out, and I bought myself some time, so Mike is still talking shit over there.
Fights like this create a lot of hype, but professional boxers and the boxing community have said it's crucial for Tyson to win for the integrity of the sport. And with the rise of influencer boxers entering the ring, many say it's damaging for the sport.
He's a manufactured killer. I'm a natural-born killer.
Bradford is a sports writer and journalist currently in New York and travelling to Dallas for the fight. Brendan, welcome to The Briefing. Why are they fighting and what are the rules for this match?
Why are they fighting is such a good question, because they're both going to make heaps of money and potentially millions of people are going to watch. That's sort of what it comes down to. Why are they fighting though? Like there's no world titles on the line. It's not like either of them are going to be full-time, serious professional boxers. One guy's almost 60. Like it makes no sense whatsoever. It's a bit of a circus, but in sports and in other things, the circus sells these days. So that's why they're fighting. And probably, I think they're both about going to make $20 million, something like that, which is not bad. A lot of people would take that. So the fight is 8 2-minute rounds, professional boxing rules. So anyone who's tuned into a boxing match before, Floyd Mayweather's or your Tim Tszyu or whoever, same rules, same sort of size gloves, but 2-minute rounds. Usually boxing rounds are 3 minutes. This one, because for whatever reasons, one guy's almost 60 and the other guy's a YouTuber, they're going to do 2-minute rounds. Should a 58-year-old, nearly 60-year-old be fighting a 27-year-old? Absolutely not. No way, unless you're Mike Tyson. There's probably one of one that could fight at 58 for somehow it to be okay and it to get okayed and it to be signed off by a streaming platform like Netflix and be held at a huge stadium like Cowboy Stadium. I think it seats something like 80,000, maybe more. So Mike Tyson is probably the only person that could pull this off. If you look at boxing history, guys like, Muhammad Ali, genuine legends like that, you look at them when they're 58, it's not such a good look. So, people are going to bag it and people are bagging it. And, certain times of day I'll bag it as well. But at 58, he's doing all right, I think. A lot of the boxing community have been saying that it's crucial for Tyson to win this match for the sport. Why is that? Because it's Mike Tyson, and Jake Paul is a YouTube guy, an influencer, if you want to call him that, who's sort of dabbling in boxing. He's not really of boxing. So boxing people are getting a little bit worked up about that because Tyson's their guy. And, a lot of people between the ages of sort of 30 to 50 grew up or spent their prime years watching Mike Tyson rule the world. So to a lot of people, it's crucial that he wins because that's going to be a win for boxing over this YouTube fly in, fly out kind of guy. But I think we have to realise that at 58, this isn't Mike Tyson. This is 58-year-old Mike Tyson. So if he loses, it's 58-year-old Mike Tyson. It's not Kid Dynamite. It's not the baddest man on the planet. And if he does lose against Jake Paul, would that be damaging for the sport? the fact that this is even happening, I think the damage, if there's damage, is already done. So if he loses, if he wins, boxing will go on. It's had bigger sort of scandals and corruptions and black eyes than this, and somehow it's always one of those sports that people love to watch. Big fights or big sideshows, big circus acts like this, people will tune in, and boxing will keep going. And, you know, Jake Paul might fight some other guy, I don't know, George Foreman, some other retired boxer or another YouTuber, I don't know. But the sport will keep going. People will keep paying to see people punch each other in the face.
There has been a rise of influencers becoming boxers and getting paid way more than professional boxers. What are kind of the conversations happening around that?
Again, boxing people hate it, absolutely hate it. There's an element of sort of snobbery, and the boxing purists hate that these people come in and make obscene amounts of money, you know, having not trained for years and that kind of thing, which is understandable. I don't know how or why the boxing element caught on. Like, you look in the UK, you know, influencers and stuff, they play football charity matches and stuff, but it doesn't seem to grasp global attention like boxing. Maybe it's that thing, you know, people punching each other in the face. Everyone's kind of watched. There's something magnetic about it. So, yeah, I don't quite know how or why the influencer boxing thing has become such a rage. But the flip side of this is that although the Tyson-Jake Paul fight is a bit of a circus, bit of a sideshow, there's actually some really good fights on the undercard, like some legitimate, genuine boxers, some really good boxers. Katie Taylor, arguably the greatest female boxer of all time. So there are actually good fights, and hopefully some of the however many millions of people that watch Tyson and Jake Paul, maybe they see Katie Taylor, or maybe they see there's an Australian, Dana Coolwell, as well on the card. So you never know. Maybe there's a trickle-down effect.
This fight has been postponed a few times now. Do you think there's a chance that it could again, or is it definitely going to go ahead this weekend?
I thought that they were going to cancel it. When I think they were supposed to fight in June or July, and Mike Tyson got sick on an aeroplane, something like that. And I thought for sure the fight's off. There's no way they can do it. He's already 58. He's sick. They'll cancel it. I think at this point, I just think there's too much gone into it, too many millions of dollars, that even if Mike Tyson breaks his hand or if Jake Paul falls over and snaps his ACL, I think they'll still fight. I think there's too much to lose not to have this fight go ahead.
Now, you are currently in New York and you're travelling to Dallas. What do you expect the vibe to be like on the ground there?
That's part of the reason I really want to go. So I'm in New York this week covering a UFC event in New York. I'm flying to Dallas on Friday, just a quick in and out. But I'm really interested to see who's going to this fight. I heard earlier this week that ticket sales weren't so good, or not as high as they hoped. There's probably still tens of thousands of people going to go. But who's buying tickets? Who's spending their hard-earned money to go and watch these two guys fight? What's the energy going to be like? I mean, people that were watching Mike Tyson when he was Mike Tyson, that's 35 odd years ago. Are there 50, 60-year-olds going, or is it this young crew that are maybe buying tickets because of Jake Paul? I'm really interested to see what the vibe is and what the crowd's like, because I've covered some big sort of fights and sporting events, but nothing quite like this. So it's going to be really interesting to see.
This is being streamed on Netflix live. Why do you think Netflix is doing this? Is it all part of their kind of plan to capture more of a sports audience?
I think so. That seems to be the play, and possibly a way of trying to break through that pay-per-view model that has been such a staple and sort of the lifeblood of fight sports, boxing and UFC, MMA. People pay $40, $50, $60 to watch, you know, big matches. And now if you've got Netflix and you pay however much it is a month, $10 or whatever, you can essentially watch it for free without paying the pay-per-view prices. So I think it feels like this is Netflix trying to, again, like disrupt the common sort of, or the assumed norms. From all accounts, they've done, I think they did a golf thing with Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson maybe a year ago. And they obviously found that for the investment, although they're paying millions of dollars, that people watch sport and stay watching sport. And Maybe they'll get new subscribers as well. So there's a lot going into it, although people are calling it a bit of a circus. There's some kind of business plan to it.
Do you think that this fight will be as historic as people are making it?
No chance. Nah. It'll be one of those weird blips on the radar. In 5-10 years, you'll look back and go, hey, remember that weird day that Mike Tyson fought Jake Paul? Like Mike Tyson, the heavyweight champion, fought the YouTube guy, Jake Paul. It'll be like that. It's a quick in and out money grab kind of thing, and fair play to anyone that's making money. But yeah, it's not going to be like, I don't think you'll be looking back on it. It's not going to be winning awards or fight of the year kind of thing.
Now, for a lot of listeners, this is probably the question they really want to know the most. Is this just all rigged?
That's another thing I'm really interested to find out as well, because you put so much into it. Again, you put many millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars into something like this, and if it's the Mike Tyson of old, where he knocks people out in 1-2 rounds, even back in his heyday when he was doing that, people were like, I'm not paying $50 to watch Mike fight because I know what's going to happen. It's going to be over. So it'd be a disaster if he does knock him out in a round or two, because you want people staying and streaming for half an hour or 45 minutes or however long. So I wonder whether there's like a script, if it's going to be closer to WWE wrestling than it is to pure sport. I don't know. That's potentially libelous. I'm not sure. But I have the same sort of questions and thoughts as well. And I suppose, I don't think it'll be hard to figure out by the time they're fighting what this sort of actual setup is, whether it's legit or whether there's an element of choreograph to it.
That was Brendan Bradford there. And if you want to catch the fight, it'll be on tomorrow at 12 p.m. Saturday. That's Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. And that's it for this episode of The Briefing. Tomorrow we do have the weekend briefing coming out with Antoinette Lattouf and world-renowned chef Ben Shuri, who's behind the restaurant Attica. It's a great chat, and the two of them talk about their love of hot chips, toxic work culture in hospitality, and why the way someone treats waitstaff tells you everything you need to know about them. But while you're here, we'd love it if you could share this ep with someone else you think might enjoy it as well. And if you do want to keep up with our other content, you can check us out on Instagram at The Briefing Podcast, and on TikTok and YouTube. Just search for Listener Newsroom. We'll be back in your feed tomorrow with that episode of The Weekend Briefing. I'm Helen Smith. See you soon.
Listener.